What's going on, YouTubes? Got to catch you guys up. We've been off for a couple days because we had a little bit of some family sickness, and then of course the end of the school year for the kids. Lots of parties, lots of great stuff. So I took over a lot of household family stuff going on. Lots of running around, lots of kid stuff. So let's get you guys caught up. So last couple days we've had some very interesting plays here. Yesterday specifically, we'll get you caught up on that first. 597 over under on SPY. That was the pivot for all longs to scalp and all shorts to scalp at that level. That's where we put our sentiment candles. We're coming into today as a very short biased, as you know, as well. And right here was the opening morning prediction, anything over under the 597. We cracked that 597, came down to the golden pocket, as the short says here, must stay under 597 to get to the GP, or over 597 to the 600. And then the long target would be as high as 600 or 600.31, which, as you know from watching these videos, I've been absolutely busy chart adamant on the drop coming. So as you said or heard, maybe you haven't, a million times me say, it's going to loop under the 10 SMA in the blue, come back up, consolidate, hold, push towards 600, right at 600 fail, come back down, start attacking the gaps in the 100 EMA. That is still the trade call from the last couple weeks. So let's get into the day trades yesterday and what's going to happen this morning here. So yesterday was 597 over under as the sentiment predicted, right? We had a golden pocket opportunity here where we've seen some really clean moves. So we'll mark it off like this for you guys this morning and talk about the oscillation. So we had the Trump tweet, right? China's more trade talks, so on and so forth. And of course that came right after data, and you know me and the fibbies. So what do? We fib out those Trump tweeties, right? And then we play according to the Fibonacci. So we had an opening morning short that we played, posted the P&Ls on the break of 597. Now, the cool thing about this one, we'll make this neon green for the Trumpster. And then we'll make the jobs, employment rate, this one. And we'll make this one orange so we can tell them apart real quick. All right. So with the big Trump tweet candle, having a large push, what does that leave for the jobs? Well, you guessed it, a golden pocket that was not tagged with a magnet. And what is our rule for a high-low candle pick, which is a very unique candle? You got to know what candles to pick. We have lots of videos explaining that on the channel. Up to the upside. When the Fibonacci breaks up and over through the 1618, 2618, 3618, and frickin' 423.6, leaving a golden pocket open, there is a very strong chance during that catalyst that we will be coming back down to the golden pocket, right? And then you mix in the Trump tweet Fibonacci, you overlap the neon green, and then you definitely have a pocket of resistance from that golden pocket that will confirm your move to the downside. So you would have this golden pocket break that has a best case scenario extension to the downside under the golden pocket to the 1618 of 594, as long as it's under 597 as we predicted. So once we got that opening morning short, I played the short right into here because, again, the golden pocket and the green Trump candle tweet was resistance. We were under 597.95 right here in the 50. That's a very important one for later and for right now. Remember that flat 597.95. So it comes up to the 423, and I told my chat right here live, I said, short all the pops. I said, short the lower high. I'm short under the 2618, run it to the 1618, 1618, run it to the 100. You guys know my rules. This is standard fibs. Every day we play the same stuff on this channel. One indicator Fibonacci with a couple oscillations, keeping it real simple with price levels. So as you can see, that magnet worked out perfect first, right to the jobs data, right? And then momentum move down to the 1618. And lo and behold, it held the 1618 and pushed back to what? What we said to remember, 597.95, which was shied at the open. And what are the Fibonacci rules? Now the orange one is completed. We had the beautiful opening morning short call for us. Under the GP, hit the 1618. What do the rules state? Well, after the 1618, generally we return back to the 100 more often than not, and then the golden pocket, which you had seen secured here. And then later on, we obviously had more news, more fights between Elon and Trump and everything else that happened. It just rotated back to using the same Fibby, right? So this brings us into today as well. Now you see the fail of the golden pocket. We just had the retrace, the perfect scalp, hit a high day, cracked, and then started a 3 down, right? So markets love to move in threes. That is big for us here. We watch that all the time. If this is the top move and we have a break, it pops up, that's move number 1. Pops up, breaks the lower high to a lower low, that's move number 2. Breaks up, lower low, that's move number 3. So that would be ending right here, the 3 down, and it would pop, which it did at the end. So we had a beautiful 3 down. And then when we are looking at the extension coming into today, right, we have a good short sentiment and a good short magnet. Now, today's trade setup is going to be very, very, very fun as well. So let's get into that, get you guys out for pre-market, getting it all ready. Let's set up for today. Golden, boom, like always. I'm going to extend these lines over because we have good magnets to cover right here. And the jobs data for farm payrolls. Now, from a structure standpoint, if you break this down, for trend wise, let's do a 10-day 5 instead here. As far as structure is concerned, the last time we had set in up here, the highs near 597, came down. We couldn't quite break out to 600, so we came down, grabbed a higher low on trend, pushed all the way back up to almost 600, missing by just a tad bit. So now we are left with the over-under of today's GP and a sentiment to the downside, but everything is pending farm payroll. So, my jam here is farm payroll is going to be the one to finally dump it. We would use the Trump candles downside metrics to get a magnet to 590 and 587 on a very hard sell if the jobs numbers come in poor, which they've already started. Now, the golden pocket here, obviously, since we are just trapped in it, the algorithms aren't going to let this thing go until farm payrolls. We are just going to chop, whenever you see an open like this, pre-market open is in the purple line right here. I always watch the pre-market opening tick. It becomes a very good over-under for the day. So if you notice right here, it's just been holding that purple, holding that purple, holding that purple. That's the first tick of pre-market. Very interesting algorithm that they run. So coming into the golden pocket is when we're trapped in between that GP of yesterday's high-low, we're not really going to get anything till 7:30 a.m. We got a little over an hour for the jobs numbers that are going to come up for non-farm payroll, and two things are obviously going to happen. We're going to wait for that data candle, right? It's going to be large, hopefully. We're going to fib the non-farm payrolls out just like this, and then we're going to play accordingly to the Fibonacci high-low. Now, my prediction is I'm still hoping for the short. So let's talk about the other sentiment that we have with the volatility index that could help us out with that. So the last couple of days, we've seen a lot of consolidation near 17s, low 17s. We had that abrupt move end of the day that's popping it. Now, if we look at some longer time frames here, like the 30-30 and everything else, we're coming off that just low sub 13 double bottom area. Well, right now in the 30-minute, just overall, we are kind of hanging out in that top RSI channel. We're breaking up to the MAC. We're on relax right now because we are hitting some moving average resistances, but you know me in confirmation, right? So the 100 EMA and the 30, which again, we don't talk about the 30 too much on the VIX. It's just a big one here. Hit that 100 EMA, came back around, broke over it. And what needs to happen? Back test, right? Because that's confirmation trading. When you break over a level like the 100 EMA, you look for the next moving average, usually on the VIX. That's the 200, hit here, and back to the 100 and consolidating. If that maintains support at $18, which is a nice whole dollar, 100 EMA and the 30, you can drop back down to the 5-minute. You're going to see that 100 EMA chasing us at the exact same spot on the 5-minute, so it's not too big of a deal on the 30. We just wanted to see that 200, and then you will see possible momentum. We have been stuck right on the MACD, right on the RSI center lines all morning because, of course, farm payrolls are coming out. The algos aren't going to give you a hint here. So if we hold above 100 EMAs, 30 and 5, above 18, the VIX has that opportunity to push higher. The VIX has a lot of open algorithms that it left right here, gappy gaps, right? Back on this dump day. So I want you guys to mark these off because this is where the VIX has potential to go to. 1891, 1885 area. Okay. And then if we get a big snap and it becomes the sell that we've been looking for, sub 600 shies away, great. We have VIX. That goes all the way up to 25 and beyond, right? Still, we talked about the gaps up here, talked about a lot of the algo gaps forming that it needs to break out of. So if you notice those two gaps that we had just placed, here, get up there. That's leading into that 10 SMA daily, okay? Here's your 10 SMA in the blue daily. Here are the two gaps that we had just measured out. It would make a lot of sense to hold this GP, which we are right now, long pushing into that 10 or pushing through that 10 and continuing the big upside move on VIX because we do have these gaps in the 30s which is coming. There will be, it's not going to be tomorrow, the next day, who knows? But when it comes, it starts breaking over sentiment of the 23s and 25s. We have a shot to come back to high volatility gaps to fill this bad boy up here. It will fill eventually. So always keep that in mind, that it will be a magnet. You notice on the daily chart here, you are getting the MACD cross to the positive. You are getting higher lows and higher highs on RSI on the daily chart. It is slowly consolidating that gear up in fear. Now, right now, it's still chasing down that support, 100 EMA, and jobs. But for today, that's just a very big piece of the pie. So the final prediction for today would be we're going to watch over under the 50. So this is how we set this up. It's going to be the 50 and above, and we can get back up towards the 38.20 here and maybe a little higher. And this is all jobs data dependent. We can't function anything. I'm going to try to trade this live as well. See if I can get the kiddos taken care of here early and see if they stay sleeping. They don't have school, so hopefully they stay sleeping. We'll get it all recorded. And then the pre-market open price and the 50 is going to be over under, so about 595. If SPY is above here and the jobs farm payrolls snap us up, we're going to look for a retrace. Okay, I want to see the jobs data. If it pops us up like this, I'm going to look for this candle. We're going to fib it out high-low like always, and we're going to see if that candle trickles back down to the 38.20, because that'll be a magnet, right? Because yesterday's highs is way up here. So if the jobs data snaps us back up to a certain amount, like 597 again, or close to the Trump, and lets it walk down to the GP before going higher, fine, great sentiment. We still need 600 tag. If it snaps down, inversely, it'll be the same thing. If it holds yesterday's lows off that snap down, I want to see it grind back up to the 61.8 on the opposing side. So, and then down, okay? So either one, I want to see the farm payroll up, farm payroll down. I do not care. I will play the opposite move. Pay attention to that. Up, I'm shorting it. Down, I'm longing it. I will utilize the golden pocket as those targets, okay? It's as simple as that. I'll try to trade that one live, and we'll get to the recording. So sorry about the delay in most videos here, guys. We got a lot of stuff going on. This weekend, Sunday, we're going to be streaming the live, giving away some free cash. So tune in 5 p.m. Central, Futures Open, and we will get you guys some free moolah. All you got to do is be subscribed, drop a comment, a like. We'll pick the random comment picker, and that's all you got to do to win some cold hard cash, man. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to trade with us, the link is also in the description. Every single morning we're live, sometimes not on YouTube, but I am streaming live for my private company. No matter what, we don't miss at all unless there's a catastrophic thing. So we'll see you guys there. Thanks for the YouTube video, or thanks for tuning in for the YouTube video. We'll see you on the next one.